Hey there guys, in today's video we're going to be using the Cleric palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. It has a very nice, kind of cool, neutrally-ish, color story. I'm going to be primarily playing with the white, this desaturated sage, and this blue tone. Oh yeah, we're going to do 3 looks, 1 palette, and this will be look number 1. So let's get into it. I have About Face's Matte Fluid Eye Paint in White Noise. So I'll be going a little bit in on like the inner corner to get a little bit more color payoff. And if you see me looking down, I have a mirror that's right underneath the camera here. So we'll see what happens. I already did this look before, but I was messing around with the camera and the lighting a lot and realized that that's not really a product that's gonna look good in the finished video. So y'all are gonna have to bear with me while I do this again. Especially if you can see that there's still some like makeup around my eyes. Anyway, I'll be going into the shade Heal. Sorry. I'm going to be going into the shade Heal here. And it's actually quite nice. There's a mirror on the inside. So I do appreciate that, especially as like a travel palette or a palette to travel with. I'm actually not quite used to this filming setup. Prior to this video, I had my camera probably another foot away, and I think it made a lot of difference moving it closer. So hopefully in preceding videos it'll be a little bit better, but you are going to be seeing my sweat stash a lot more often. I'm so sorry. I'm going into this shade Balm, and I'm going to be placing that kind of in like the middle of my eye, going outward. I'm just keeping a little bit of the white in here. Since they're so similar in tone though, or rather in depth, it kind of looks the same in video. But I promise you it's different. Okay, so I'm totally stealing the idea of 3 looks, 1 palette from, a lot of other content creators, but one of my friends here on Instagram and on YouTube, her name is Arachne, on both platforms, by the way. Probably one of the sweetest, nicest people that I've met online. We've played games for like a few hours too. And anyway, I'm taking her 3 looks, 1 palette concept and running away with that. Hopefully she doesn't mind. I'm going into the shade Sanctuary, and I'll be going into my outer corner. I'm sticking on the far side of my eye, the outer corner kind of by my eyebrow, and then I'm just kind of tapping and bringing it closer in. I want a lighter gradient than what I currently have, so I'll just keep tapping until I kind of get the gradient and depth that I want. Not quite even. I think I'll have to like add a little bit more color on this side. I'll be going in with the shade Shrine in the palette on my lower lash line. I like a little bit more of like an eye baggier feel, so I go in pretty heavy underneath my eyes, and I go pretty far out, like probably to here in the lower eye region, and I smoke. Well, once I get eyeliner on, I'll smoke it out. Y'all, I go through black eyeliner pretty fast. This is an Urban Decay eyeliner. This is an LA Girl one. If I had to choose between the two, I'd go for LA Girl, just because there's less, I think, things tied to them that are problematic, and it's a lot cheaper. But yeah, I like black eyeliner a lot. Going back in with that shade Shrine, and I'm smoking out the black just a little bit. It's kind of blended into the shade, but it's okay. I'm using a flat shading brush with a little bit of micellar water to cut a wing shape for me. And that's how quick that is. I will be going in with the shade Bless, and I'm bringing it just into the inner corner, and then up above, reaching to my eyebrow, kind of missing where my eyelid is. I want some of that white to show up and a little bit more of that kind of desaturated pigeon teal. Don't know if that's like a compliment or not, but I do like pigeons. Just going in with a Radiant foundation. I have some lashes from Kiss. It is matte lace. So here's the shape that I'll be using for today's look. Alright, so I'm going in with a little bit of lipstick. It is Fantasy Cosmetica's Lost Library lipstick in the shade Unearthed. And I'm actually going to be using it as blush as well as lipstick today. I think I need to blend out that lower lash line a little bit better. So, if you'll pardon me. We're just using a little bit of that Unearthed lipstick as blush. So I want to do a full face of Fantasy Cosmetica makeup. I think they deserve that. I'll be going into the shade Bless one more time as my highlight shade. I'm gonna go 2016 with the highlighter. I do like highlighter on the nose, so you're gonna have to fight me on that. I did go in with the Unearthed lipstick from Fantasy Cosmetica. I'm just gonna be using a black lip liner. This one's from Unearthly. It's in the shade Villain. Just gonna pat the shade Bless just lightly on top of the lipstick. Kind of bring all of the silveryness together. And honestly, I might I might go in with a little bit of white mascara. This is the finished look for makeup look 1. It's like a nice light to dark gradient and an orange lip to help complement. It's a little bit darkened and frosty, but I like that. Thank you so much for watching look number 1, and let's hop into look number 2. Alright, we're on to look 2 with the Cleric palette. I think for the second look, I might be primarily focusing on Shrine and using a little bit of Sanctuary to darken the outer corner. So it's going to be kind of like this khaki green tone that we'll go with. I have MAC's Paint Pot and Painterly on my eyes. However, I will say that once I do get through this, which will take a while, but once I do get through this, I will not be repurchasing. I do not support anything Estee Lauder related, so anything that I currently do have with them, I will no longer be repurchasing. I'll be finding something else. Alright, I'm going into the shade Sanctuary here. Be the top middle shade. I'm going to go in like the first half of, maybe like the first 2/3 of my eye. It's only a little bit deeper in depth than my skin tone, so I'm wondering how the eye look is gonna go. I might not like it, but we'll see. This will be the first time that I'm just winging it with the palette. The first look I redid twice because I didn't like what I did with filming. So we have the khaki shade down. We're gonna go in with Sanctuary, the bottom shade. I'm just patting it on the outer corner and bringing it into the inner half of the eye. I find that I have the most success with like doing my eye makeup by patting and not by doing windshield wiper motions, as Arachne had mentioned in her first video. I'm liking how this is looking. I think it looks cute. Happy with how it's going. I kind of like doing like a little bit of like a C shape. So I'll start in the outer corner, bring it out diagonally, and then kind of come in a curve. I'm also trying to commit to doing more YouTube videos. I've just been getting in my own head. I don't know. Perceiving myself has been a little bit difficult. And my stress currently is mainly in handling my anxiety with what's going on in the world. But we're just figuring it out. I'm using the top middle shade Shrine and going on my lower lash line with it, contemplating if I want to bring it all the way. I kind of do. I'm going to use a black eyeliner. I'm just going to line my waterline. And then I'm going in with that Shrine shade, and I'm just buffing that into the black to kind of create this like diffuse gradient. So, you know, it's always a little bit of kind of back and forth play. Going between the shades just to make sure that things are kind of where I want them and in how much saturation, like, you know, a little more diffused out here. I want more concentration of color right here. So, just having fun. Forgot if I talked about wedding planning at all in my first look. So I'll just go and talk about it now. Or again. We're working with a wedding planner, and they are wonderful. I'm just using micellar water and like a flat shading brush. But she's having us pick through a vendor list that our venue requires, and we'll be doing that today. So hopefully that'll go well, and my partner and I, can knock out a number of things that we're needing to take care of. Like, we still have photographer, catering, hair, makeup, etc. Like the big stuff, florals. We literally just have our engagement photos with our friend set to be shot, but we don't even have like the day planned. Gonna go into the shade Relic here, and I'm gonna use my fingertip. I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna pat that in my inner corner, and then I'll drag it a little bit on my eyelid. I think we're gonna go in with a little bit of a different shimmer on top. This is kind of like a mid to dark tone. Looks nice, but I think we need more shimmer. I'm going into the shade Bless, and I'll be popping that right on top. Gonna get some mascara and lashes on. If you guys are wedding planning, you should tell me what things you're worried about and what you're excited about. And if you've already been married, you've been married a while, just let me know, share some advice down in the comments. That'd be so wonderful. I will take any advice, any and all advice for wedding planning and what I should do the day of. I'm all ears. I keep hitting my eyes and they are watering like crazy. I am so sorry. Also, if you guys have any recommendations for foundations that you use, I will be looking eventually. I still have a little bit of makeup to go through currently, but I want to switch the parent companies that I'm purchasing from, since they're also Estee owned. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm like right here on the Studio Radiance from MAC, and this is my second bottle. So, you know, I would rather put my money to where I think it's best placed. I don't know. I'm just an anxious person trying to do their best. But yeah, I have this Mob Beauty palette that I made. I actually incorporated new shades into like these shades, but I've currently gone through the bronzer M80 and I have the cream blush M72 here. I'll be using M72 as my blush. Also, I'm sorry I'm a little rambly. I'm gonna try and forgive myself in editing too, but it's been a little bit since I've filmed, and I think, I don't know, just a lot of anxiousness. I hope you guys can relate. I hope you guys can't relate, but if you do, I hope you guys can relate. I don't know, I just haven't been wanting to be perceived, and yet at the same time I want to share makeup things, so it's kind of like stupid, a little weird. I have Fantasy Cosmetica's Celestial Lights highlighter. It's a trio. I'm going to be using Dancing Lights. It's a lot. I'll be using that as my highlighter. And I do like highlighting my nose, the tip of it. Although I feel like it probably makes me look a little sweaty. Maybe we'll tamp that down a little bit. I have Charlotte Tilbury's So 90s, their lipstick. And then I'm going in with About Face Painted Lip Color. And then I'm going in with About Face's Painted Lip Color in the shade Night Sight. This is look number 2. So that's it for look number 2, and we'll move on to look number 3. Alright, so we're on to look number 3 with the palette, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a halo eye with Sanctuary and Bless. I'm going to start off with About Face's Matte Fluid Eye Paint in White Noise. And I'm gonna go, hopefully, that's not very good on this side. Gonna go and pat the white in the middle of my eyelid, going all the way up to the brow bone. I'll just pat that out. I really want to make sure that the shimmer shade that I have stands out against my skin tone, so I'm using white to do that. I think that's okay. I'm going to be dipping into Sanctuary, and I'll be going on the outer and inner corner of my eye to create the perimeter of the halo. Let's see if I can use my vocabulary words. It's looking decent so far, how it's mapped out. Pretty okay with that. Sorry if I'm not as talkative in this portion of the video. It's right after I did my second look, but I just did a whole bunch of like condensing of venue search list, or how can I use English? I don't know. I condensed 7 pages of vendor lists down to 2 pages, so my fiance and I are able to look at those tomorrow and make an easier decision, and get back to our wedding planner and continue to proceed forward with plans. So my brain is pooped, guys. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I can understand why wedding planning without a wedding planner is a full-time job, almost. Okay, not quite, like a part-time job. But you can make it a full-time job by taking care of all of it for people, and that's what we are doing. Going in with a little bit of a smaller pencil brush. Not quite, it's a little domed. But I'm going into Sanctuary again, and I'm just deepening on the eyelid where I want it to be more saturated. Also, if I'm a little lispy, I do apologize. I have my retainers in. I usually take them out to film, but I need to have them in to keep the hours. I'm doing Invisalign, so wow, macroplastics. That's a bad joke. That's pretty stupid. But it's okay. If anyone's gotten this far into the video, it's probably just me in editing, because I have a very small following. And that's okay. I am excited to grow. So, if you've made it this far, put down your favorite emoji, and then remind me that I told you to put down your favorite emoji. Thank you. I've just brought the white down from my pupils, but I kind of like made them come out at an angle, but that's okay. I think it'll look alright. I'm dipping back into Sanctuary, and I'll be going on my lower lash line. And I'll mirror what I have on my upper lids and keep the center nice and bright. I'll be going into the shade Bless now, and I'll be placing that onto the white that I have in the middle of my eye, or on the middle of my eyelid, rather. And I'm blending it a little bit farther out than where the white is, once they get a little bit less on the brush, just to kind of diffuse it, so it kind of looks like it's like blending out. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going in with my Cellar water and a flat shading brush. Ta-da! I'm going in with a black eyeliner. Oop. I think lashes will help make this look a little bit nicer. I did go a little bit too far with the blue, so I think I'm going to blend it out either with Heal or Balm, the white or the kind of desaturated teal. Actually, I'm going to go into Balm and make it look a little like garbage. Back into Sanctuary, I think I'm going to just put Balm right underneath my brow, underneath like the tail end of it, and just kind of leave it like that. It's alright. Okay, so I'm actually thinning where the white is, or like where the silver is. And I'm thinking that looks a little bit better. I'm gonna throw a lash on there and see what happens. I do like it with a lash. I've just pat a little bit of Bless into either inner corner. Again, I'll be going into my Mob palette that I made. This will be shade M72. It'll be a cream clay blush. I'm just going lightly across the tops of my cheekbones. I like going a little bit higher up because I think it looks flattering on my face shape, which is a little oval. I have Glisten's Juicy Tint in the shade Blueberry. And I like using a short and dense packed brush like this to brush in the lip tint, because I kind of get annoyed with having like stained fingertips. I think it looks a little silly, like I've been eating Fun Dip way too much, you know? I'm just blurring the bottom lip a little. And then I have About Face's Paint It lip color in the shade Night Sight. I'm just going in the center with that to kind of blacken it. I've just dipped into the shade Omen. It's like a shifting duochrome, like a blurple. And I've set that on my lips. You know what? I don't quite like it. Okay, so I have, goodness, a grayish lipstick. You can go ahead and use whatever color that you like. I'll be using Diveroon Cosmetics' highlighter in the shade Drop. Definitely a night out makeup, but I also wear this to work or grocery shopping or to the dentist, so do with that what you will, you know? I had a lot of fun playing with this palette. Cool neutrals with 5 shimmers, yes, and 4 mattes. I feel like it's a really grounded, cool toned palette that's pretty fun to work with. If you already are familiar with Fantasy Cosmetica's formula, it's just another great addition. A very cool neutral leaning one. I think they have, let's see. This is a much different blue. It's like blue and purples with yellow in the Wizard palette comparative to the Cleric palette. If we can see that. I had no issues with layering any of the shadows on top of each other. I found it really easy to layer shimmers on top of mattes. The shimmers are very smooth and soft and buttery, but not crumbly soft, if that makes sense. I think I'll try maybe a couple more looks on my Instagram using more of the other shimmer shades. I definitely recommend shopping indie. They have really great concepts. They have really fun color stories. And if there's other palettes from Fantasy Cosmetica that you would like to see me try, just let me know down in the comments below. I have a number of them. Thank you so much for watching today's video and seeing all 3 looks. I hope to catch you in my next video. I'll see you later. Bye!